Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another cast, and today we're having a look at a game played on the Korean server, and of course, we are back at it again with a little bit of need her watching slash static shift LeBlanc avoiding gameplay. So, I'm sure you guys have heard what happened to the static shiv and how fleet footwork absolutely breaks the item because it allows you to basically stack the energized stacks and get more of them, and then via movement charge them up. You can do that on Ezreal, you can do it on LeBlanc, but static shift also very good option on something like the Akali, which of course allows you to perma-shove waves, which has very good scaling into the later stages of the game. And it does help. It does help quite a few champions with wave clear. Alright. So far, I haven't seen people play it on Ahri. Of course, makes sense. You need a dash on your basic ability for it to really be good. And optimally, something like a LeBlanc W, right? Maybe Fizz could use it, but then again, Fizz is a little bit all-in timey. So LeBlanc, really the champion to do it. And, well, needless to say, she is kind of perma-banned in my games. But that leaves me playing against Ahri very often. Now, I wanted to talk about this a little bit because of how terrible the Ahri matchup is for Viego. So realistically, what can you do? You have a couple of options. Number one, as you can see here, Needher is preserving his HP at any cost. And this is because you need to find an all-in timing before level 6. Otherwise, the lane... otherwise, she just pulls ahead of you and you just sit there and watching her and, like... You can't really do much, right? The only option, really, that you have is to play a 2v2. And, well, it's a Wukong. So that's also hard because of Warrior Trickster clone, right? So needless to say, this game definitely looking like an unwinnable, or at least for Viego uncarryable game. Let's put it that way. It's very annoying and for sure hard to carry for someone that plays Viego in the mid lane. Because of course Ahri can just escape from your ultimate later on, right? You don't ever have damage to one-shot her. Theoretically, you could go Gale Force, but then again, that doesn't work versus the versus Wukong. So that's kind of a no-no, right? You can also can't do that versus Tristana, can't do that versus Quinn. Well, technically it works versus Tristana, but I'm pretty sure it's impossible versus Quinn to play. Because their damage just outscales you always. This Ahri is also going for the Herald of Doom, which is static shiv as well. Listen, you can't avoid it. It's always there. It gives you instant roams on a mage. It is absolutely not balanced. And we see Needher trying to catch out the Ahri here with some W's and stuff. But you can see that he isn't really finding his footing in this lane. And this is the worst case situation. Someone like the Ahri. And then who is pretty safe, who is very guaranteed to hit her spells if you come into her. And then she also plays safe and she isn't cocky. Bit of an issue, yeah. Gets poked out a little bit here for the cannon, but doesn't actually get the electrocute proc from Ahri. So it's not too bad. He is sustaining well. Of course, he still has Doran's shield. He still has a health potion that he could pop to get an all-in timing, but, you know. Alright, so here we see him heavy trading. I suppose he's close-ish And he wants to look for something here level 6, right? So wants to go for a joust around it. And the Wukong comes in, finds him. Very good job by the Wukong reading. And this is the other thing, right? You're always committed to the play. Yeah. We're running teleports at this point. This is because Needher has given up the ignite. He's kind of FFing that one because it's not really playable anyway. And so we will see whether or not he finds something here. Level 6 to level 5. The charm absolutely does cuck him. He goes Q into the R here. Finds the flash of the Ahri. Alright, so Ahri flash. Ahri doesn't have very strong abilities. This is a unique scenario where Ahri is, of course, going a, well, semi-good build here, right? So at this current point in time, Ahri's just weak. The problem is, Ahri's sustain is pretty nasty. And it just gets worse with Fleet Footwork. So she is going to sustain out in this lane as well. Going to slowly whittle you down while being perfectly safe with her ultimate. It's technically possible to lock her down if you have something like a Sejuani who can flash QW into Ahri Ahring away into Ahring the Ahri, right? And then you follow up. Maybe technically that's possible, but other than that, there's not a lot that can just lock down an Ahri for long enough. So for Needhor, this is going to mean you have to proc Ahri's ultimate and then she has to overextend, which is, I mean, that's just, this is the thing with Viego mid oftentimes that I find as well, is where I need a person to make one mistake to die to Talon or something like that. I need a person to make several mistakes to die to Viego, because it's just like, okay, first mistake, you trade them Half-Life. Second mistake, you can all-in them. Or first mistake, you blow their flash. And then second mistake, you can kill them. So yeah, very often it's a bit difficult. But one thing that I haven't been doing that Needher is really good at. Now, of course, he doesn't do this with Ahri because you can't do it with Ahri, but it is just flashing onto a person, running them down, and then using his ultimate to follow up. And just kind of, yeah, just kind of dogging them down and forcing them to flash and then still punishing it. Alright, Ahri does have her static shiv here, which means one last bit of fun here for the Viego. I must say I'm a little bit surprised that Riot didn't just ban the item. I think they could have just removed the item. Didn't though. Okay, Wukong standing in the mid lane now. So remember, static shift not quite online. Ahri needs to get a little bit of AP, just a little bit. Alright, here we have the 2v2. And yeah, it's very difficult for Viego to follow up now, though. The Wukong will be taken low enough. And now with the Warrior Trickster clone, now we can follow up onto the Ahri. And now we have a lot of mobility. Yeah. Beautiful job. And we find the double kill here. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a favorable trade. For sure. But it's still rough that Rumble just had to kind of int himself there. In order for the stack to happen. But this brings out a very important point, is that people that play with Viego have to understand that kind of getting a Viego reset is worth your life oftentimes. And of course that doesn't really happen in lower elos. So in lower elos, I think you have to play very differently to what Needher does, right? You need to be more self-sufficient. You need to do better for yourself. Now, equally, of course, laners are also not as good at punishing. Although I must say that I would say this Ahri has not been playing up to her potential to punish this pick. But that's probably because she's uncomfortable with the static shift stuff. Oh, bot lane's looking horrific. Yikes. Yeah, okay. Oh god. That's not a situation to be in. Yeah. So Viego gonna bounce a wave here. As you can see, right, Ahri currently still at that point where she isn't one-shotting the wave. And you see that Needher is keeping up and farm very well here. Bot lane, double kill acquired for Kai'Sa and for Wukong. And Needher's roam timings are super, super short now, which makes, of course, champion like Viego much weaker as well. As you just get punished super hard at the moment for roaming versus an AP. Because they can just one-shot that wave and leave. Alright, Ahri looking. Rumble in a lot of trouble here. Not overheated anymore, but not much he can do here. Dominus coming out. Renekton has to try to get himself out of there. He doesn't get out of there. And that's a lot of money unnecessarily given to the Ahri here. There's Rakan. Ooh, beautiful flash by the Ahri, actually. We'll take down the Rakan as well. Wukong helps out with that Viego. Viego taken down as well. Has Blade of the Rune King here. But still, of course, heavily outscaled by Divine Sandra Wukong. Not really any ADs that can deal with a Divine Sandra Wukong. Or have similar impact to it, at least. Yeah, how sweet indeed, Ahri. So Ahri still doesn't have her AP, right? She's gonna recall now. She's gonna get her item after that. It's gonna look much worse. Whenever I play this static shift thing, or I did, I would prioritize getting some AP. In order to, yeah, feed into that. Are we gonna teleport into the mid lane? Now it's just pain. You have to understand, you don't have any minions to hide behind anymore. Yeah. Absolute pain. Yeah, and this is what happens now, right? What can you do as Viego? You can't really do much. You're stuck under tower. You can't shove this in. And Ahri just is open to do what she wants. Just needs to walk up to the wave. Auto attack it, Q it, leave it. Yeah, look what Needher is doing here. He's trying to split it open, right? Hover towards the side that he wants to make the play on. And just like that, he loses the wave. Because Ahri one-shots it. You know, like, this is the problem, is Ahri just, from now on, Ahri just gets to crash in every wave she wants. And it's, yeah. It doesn't feel good. Now, in pro play, there might be some reason to freeze, but in solo queue, most of the time, you just want to shove out a wave. So here, he doesn't really have threat to keep Ahri from auto-attacking the wave here once. Once she does that, now, you can't really fight her. Okay, she's gonna waste her charm here, so we're looking. Yeah, wouldn't be a Viego player if he didn't use that precious opportunity to maybe get at least an auto-attack trade in. But he doesn't. Doesn't get it. Not allowed to. Again, it's Ahri. Ahri has a W as well. The movement speed, the self-peel, the ultimate. It's just so impossible. So here we're finding it all in onto the Rumble. Rumble going down. More Ahri stacks. Wukong looking for a pick here. But Rakan and Kai'Sa are going to stay alive here as Viego has to take a long path. Kind of just sat here. Not really able to do much, and this is the curse. Of being a Viego. Is you, of course, can't really do proactive plays as well. Not as important in an elo where people usually understand that. But sometimes that means that, yeah, I would say that your playstyle for Viego mid and lower elo should also be just focusing on farming. And trying to make things happen. It's very good to check if you can kill people anyway. And yeah, as you can see, of course, we are heavily struggling with what Ahri can do to us. Let's perma-shove us in now. Night Harvest to complete here for the Ahri. The reason why people go this mana-less build is because, well, you don't really need any AP with the Static Shiv, because it also cuts down on your wave, on your mana cost for clearing a wave. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, he just has to tank some damage here, right? Has to clear it out in danger. And yeah, believe you me, I've checked. Viego cannot be played with Static Shiv build. Believe me, I tried. I was hoping for it. I mean, technically, it is possible. It's not super terrible. Because your W has an AP scaling. But, I mean, yeah, it's definitely not the perfect build. It's a little bit cursed. But it does leave you with a decent amount of wave clear, which for a Viego player is absolutely sacred. Look at this. Yeah, don't feel good. Viego going for a Blade of the Rune King Duskblade here, by the way. I think theoretically there should be some really good... Some situations where Duskblade is really strong. Right? If you get a transform into something like a Tristana, it should help out a lot. So, okay. Teleport coming through. And the Ahri only has one ultimate stack available here. This is where we can actually follow up now. Yeah, we'll find the shutdown onto the Ahri. Static Shift, unfortunately, not available. Because it just charges. It just starts charging once you pick up a champion, basically. You can see Needher very good at picking up those kills. And he looks very strong, right? But realistically, he doesn't have a lot of damage. Realistically, it's still going to be very hard for him to snowball a fight. So, all that money now is on someone who definitely doesn't have as reliable of a time as someone like Kai'Sa. Which kind of sucks. But, yeah, it's... it just is the way it is. Now, I think Rumble is really good with Viego because Rumble is able to set up low HP situations on a lot of champions at once, right? So I think that's good. I think Kai'Sa can also be very good with the snowball-y kind of team-fighting way. In this game, seeing the Duskblade of Draxar, I have a little bit of an issue with because I want more mobility. I've also been thinking about like Ghost and stuff, and I think that Ghost is probably better. We're gonna have to just let this one slide. And that's really bad. We lose the TP advantage here. As Ahri is gonna be out. Quinn in a dangerous situation. It's the Goomba Stomper will Goomba Stomp. 1-for-1 trade as Viego is just pushing. So this worked out in our favor after all. But of course still not the optimal situation here. It's nice we get to shove out this wave. I've tried a lot of things on Viego now. Tried the Stride Breaker, tried the Gore Drinker, tried all of those. And Stride Breaker, definitely an item that can be worthwhile versus champions like a Quinn, for example. Oh, we missed our R here. So this is bad. Just on like a technicality of play. He didn't use his R to buffer the little knockback from the Quinn. I think that's something that you can do if you play it a little bit slower. You need to be using your resources to the maximum on the Viego. And your R is able to kind of cancel out some CC. So versus picks like that, you definitely need to use it. As here, Equalizer coming out onto the Warrior Trickster clone. Yeah, perfect English. Very good. But yeah, Dominus is out as well here now. So this is a rough fight now without Equalizer, without Dominus. We are going Duskblade, Immortal, Shieldbone, Blade of the Rune King. Bit of a questionable build. Bit of a questionable build here. But you see Needher just kind of prioritizing getting a Blade of the Rune King almost every single game. Blade of the Rune King very, very strong on Viego. It is his after all. So it would be kind of odd. Kraken Slayer, I think for jungle Viego, currently best in slot though. Because of course that crit's gonna help you. That third auto attack's gonna help you with your jungle clear. Blade of the Rune King passive, not really doing much with it. Something that I've also liked recently a lot is the Trinity Force into Sterak's Gauge type of build. This allows you, you know, to get a little bit more AD. Get just a little bit more damage from a item that after the little bit more damage is just going to give you tons of effective HP. Kind of help you survive those scrappy team fights where you have to take a lot of area of effect damage. As here now Quinn looking to punish the Viego. Viego can't really tower dive her. That's not that possible. So yeah, we're looking. Quinn able to, absolutely able to space this though. And it's a bit of an issue here, as Quinn can of course kind of dominate the side lanes. Oh, looking for a recall cancel onto the Rakan. Rakan will go down. Ahri laying chase here. The Equalizer comes out. Tags 2. Zenidra actually finds the kill onto the Quinn here. Let's have a look at it. Presses the E. Presses the Q. Oh yeah, this is the thing where Quinn makes the mistake, right? Using her dash versus him. This is exactly what you don't want to do as any ranged champion. You need that reflex. As a Viego player. Someone uses their dash and they're a ranged champion, go in. Dog him. Check him. Maybe they win. If they win, unlucky, but you tried. Especially as a Wukong, yeah. Especially as a Viego min. Getting 2 really strong transforms here. Good charm out of the Ahri though. Here we should have definitely Tristana W into Ard. Wait, actually his W got cancelled, so yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, very good job by Ahri. As we are going to recall. $731. And still, I'm worried. Right? This is kind of the thing, right? A lot of gold on the Viego. Viego's job is decent. But I'm not entirely sure that he will be able to carry a game with a Wukong in it, with a Quinn in it, with a Milio in it. So far, he's doing very good, but he's not really making any proactive plays, right? All of his plays are just TPing in and just using his ability to get transforms. And this is kind of the problem with Viego, is if you have a hard game and you have champions like these, you will not carry. You can do well. You can get a lot of resources. That's about it. Shutdown taken. You can see how easy it is for the Ahri. This is exactly my problem. And in reverse, if Ahri oversteps, she would have to have no ultimate, no flash. And even then, there is a chance she runs you down as long as she doesn't use her charm in a too obvious way, because that's kind of the way you want to do it, is you find a W onto her, or you dodge out the charm with your ultimate immediately and then W her afterwards. So Tristana will take down the Kai'Sa. This game is looking very, very rough here indeed. As the dragon will go over to the Wukong. Soulpine now available. Hextech Dragon, very strong Baron, also went over to the red team, of course, in that fight. See, Rennick looking for a flank. Not really able to find a lot, though. Yeah. No. No Prowler's Claw available anymore to this Rennick, as he is a sitting duck. Ahri will come in, kite it out, fight it out. We find the Tristana. The Deathblade giving us a little bit of invincibility here, but at the end of the day, even if he gets out, it's barely worth it. As Milio and Quinn are looking for a kill here, and he's just gonna get kited out by the Quinn and the Milio, the knockback. And the Gale Force just a little bit too strong. That's rather unfortunate for him. But yeah, at the end of the day, he tried. And it wasn't enough. Yeah, Duskblade also pretty decent because, of course, you get some execute damage. But then again, your abilities aren't the most important part of your kit usually. Okay, we're finding a good equalizer onto the Ahri here. But Ahri, again, still has 2 ultimate charges. So Rumble just not able to find anything. Rakan not able to deal with her. It's the Ahri. Overstaying a little bit, fiestering a little bit here. But, of course, no objective really coming up yet. So right now, everything that she does is kind of inconsequential, right? Testing her limits a little bit. Doesn't really do anything. So, people have also been talking about Rageblade on Viego. There's this fake clip of someone talking about Rageblade being strong. It's not. Your passive doesn't stack it. I've tested this every single freaking hot patch now. I wanted to, but it's not the case. It just doesn't stack it. It just don't, okay? Please, understand it. Listen to me. Listen to the sound of my voice. Your passive doesn't stack it. You just get 1 passive proc. Do I want it to be different? Yes. Is it different? No. Okay, I understand we play this video game to escape reality, but sometimes you just have to accept it. All right, yeah, Kai'Sa not really able to find a lot of poke here. I'm gonna be honest. I think that Kai'Sa's only chance here was to go for actually something like the Luden's Echo, and just try to poke it out the team fight. Also, that is impossible, kind of, right? But that's your best chance. And thus, we lose the game 9-6 in scoreline. It looks like we did good. But I'm sure if we would check the damage graphs, which actually we can, probably not looking that crazy. So damage dealt here by the Viego. Yeah, see? Only 1500 versus the 2500 by the... and this is the problem with Viego. This is what makes Viego inherently problematic. Is you're incentivized to do a lot of things that are really bad. You are incentivized to take kills and take gold for yourself as someone who doesn't convert gold to damage that well. And then the other thing on Viego is, and this is also a little bit of an issue, is Viego... How do I say this? I mean, Viego's base kit, because of the transform being so strong, of course, Viego's base kit is kind of underwhelming. So very often you find yourself fed, but then you just get outranged, outplayed, outspeeded by other champions that are more revolved around base kit. And, well, thus you can for sure lose the game. Just like that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And I want you guys to stay awesome.